I have been a features journalist for 21 years. My name is Nora Strand. I specialize in institutional profiles, the kind of piece that asks what an organization actually is, beneath what it says it is, and whether the two things match. I have written about hospital systems, municipal archives, professional licensing boards, and the occasional regiment or ceremonial corps. I will be honest, when I was commissioned to write a feature on the Palace Guard, formerly the Royal Ceremonial Guard at Calder House, I expected a fairly comfortable piece. I expected to interview senior officers who would give me planned answers, watch some impressive drills, photograph some tall men in red wool and bearskin, and write something respectful and largely surface level. The editor wanted color and dignity. I assumed I would find it without difficulty. What I did not expect was to find, in the course of 2 weeks of observation, the thing that I am about to describe. The Royal Ceremonial Guard numbers 48 active members across 3 rotations. They stand post at the 6 entrance points of Calder House grounds, the main gate, 2 side gates, and 3 secondary access points, in shifts that run approximately 3 hours in length with standard relief protocol. They are, as ceremonial guards go, exactly what they appear to be: disciplined, formally dressed, unmovable. They also carry out standard security functions: access control, credential verification, perimeter monitoring. They are not purely decorative. I spent the first week doing standard observation and interviewing. I spoke with the battalion adjutant, the protocol officer, the training sergeant, and 3 individual guardsmen in their capacity as interview subjects. I was given access to the training ground and the briefing room. I watched a full day's rotations. In the second week, I asked for and was granted permission to conduct roving observation, meaning I could move through the public-facing areas of the grounds and watch from various positions, rather than remaining at a set observation point. I want to explain this detail because it is the reason I was where I was on the Tuesday afternoon, when the incident I am describing took place. I was on the east path, approximately 40 meters from the south secondary gate, taking notes on nothing in particular: the light, the stone, the way visitors move through the space. I was not watching the gate with any particular attention. The south secondary gate is used primarily for deliveries, maintenance contractors, and ground staff. It is not the formal entrance most visitors use. The guardsman on duty was a young woman. I will call her Guard D, because she did not give me permission to use her name and I did not ask, in full ceremonial dress, standing post at the gate access kiosk. A car pulled up. The occupant, a man I did not recognize, stepped out. He was in his late 30s or early 40s, in business dress, carrying a bag. He presented something to Guard D at the kiosk window. Guard D examined it. She said something. He said something. From 40 meters, I could not hear this exchange, but I could see the body language, which was clear. Guard D was not accepting what had been presented to her. The man reached into his bag and produced a second item. She examined that. She said something else. The exchange continued for approximately 90 seconds. The man's posture changed over the course of those 90 seconds. He began with the relaxed impatience of someone who expected the process to be quick. By the 90-second mark, he was at the window with a particular forward lean, not aggressive but pressing. He said something that, from the movement of his shoulders and neck, had the quality of an escalation. Guard D did not move. She said something into her shoulder radio. Within 2 minutes, another guardsman arrived at the south gate, older, senior insignia, walking quickly. He examined what had been presented. He spoke with Guard D and then with the man. He took the credentials, whatever they were, and stepped inside the kiosk. 7 minutes passed. The man waited. His posture changed again, from pressing to still, the stillness of someone who has realized they are going to have to wait. The senior guardsman came back out. He spoke with the man. The man said something, retrieved his bag, returned to his car, and drove away. I watched the car leave. I went to the protocol office the following morning and asked, I was careful to ask, not demand, if I could understand what I had seen. The protocol officer, a woman named Captain Sellen, listened to my description and then said she could not comment on individual access incidents. I said, I understand. Can you tell me in general how credential verification works when a presented document raises a question? Captain Sellen said, the guard holds position. The guard notifies supervision. The guard does not deviate from protocol regardless of the pressure applied. I said, and the credential that was presented yesterday? Captain Sellen said, I cannot comment on individual incidents. I said, was the individual who presented it permitted access? She looked at me for a moment and then said, no. I filed the piece 3 weeks later. It ran about 3,000 words. I described the training, the protocol, the history of the Guard Corps. I described the Tuesday afternoon at the South Gate. I described what I had seen from 40 meters. A young woman in ceremonial dress who examined a credential, found it wanting, radioed supervision without moving from her post, waited 7 minutes while the person applied sustained pressure, and then watched him drive away. I want to record one more thing. Near the end of my second week, I sat down with Guard D for 20 minutes. She had agreed to speak with me briefly after consulting with the protocol office on the condition that she not be named. She was 26 years old. She had been with the Guard for 3 years. She was precise and pleasant and answered my questions carefully. I asked, when you are standing post and someone challenges you, verbally, persistently with pressure, what do you focus on to hold the position? She said, the post. The post is why I am there. The other thing is noise. I thought about that for a long time. I still think about it. The guard at the South Secondary Gate is ceremonial, yes. But I learned, in 2 weeks at Calder House, that ceremony and substance are not opposites. Sometimes the ceremony is the substance. The red wool and the bearskin and the correct position at the kiosk window are the same thing. From a certain angle, the thing that holds, regardless. Guard D holds. I wrote about that. I wanted it on record.